everyone who is joining us today for the interview. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it, and we hope you guys enjoy. We have a really interesting interview lined up for you guys today. So I am here with Bryan Haw and Cameron Paton. Is that the correct?
Pretty good. Yeah, I like the enunciation on that. That's perfect, man.
All right, awesome. Glad to hear it. So, yeah, so you guys are the co-founders of the Kook Co, which is a surf shop and surf lifestyle shop, both online and physical. And you guys, tell me a little bit about yourselves. How did you guys get into this line of work? What was the mindset behind it? What was the vision? Yeah, go for it. I'm really keen. I'm interested here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, you hit away. You're the kind of
Yeah, man. So this whole thing started by the company that Bryan and I both work in right now. We tried to develop something more. We were trying to take more eco-friendly steps in the products that we had. And so one of the things that came up was a little, like a seal, like a weatherproofing sort of seal that we were using, and it was foam initially. And so we tried to reduce that plastic sort of petrochemical footprint to cork instead. And so the supplier that we were working with at the time that kind of helped us develop this into a cork product had a what looked like a cork surfboard, one piece of an entire pad.
Oh, wow.
So I remember taking that back from the supplier showroom the one day and brought it back to the warehouse. And obviously all the guys at Juhot now where we work, we're all surf. So, kind of threw it on the table and was like, guys, cork surfboard pads, what do you think? And everyone was like, yeah, sounds cool. So we kind of looked into it. No one was really doing it. And just by nature of the way it was born out of a desire to reduce our environmental footprint in the company that we were already in. So that's kind of that's what it was born out of. It was born out of to become more eco-friendly. And so that's pretty cool in of itself.
it wasn't really like a business to start off with. It was kind of just a
Yeah.
change within one company to a change within our own surfing. And then it kind of was like, well, this is something I'd pay for, man. And I think this is something other people would pay for and other people would enjoy doing as well. So
yeah, so I mean, from there it just started. We just went back to the supplier and gave them designs, and they made what we wanted to have. And the first prototypes were a little bit sketchy and dodgy, but from there on it just kind of refined it to something pretty cool that works pretty well.
All right, no, that's awesome to hear. I mean, yeah, I'm glad to hear that you guys have managed to find a niche as well. I mean, that's really, it seems like that's where you got your foot in the door. You found that niche, and then you realized that, wait, this is actually viable. And not only viable, sorry, but it is necessary. It's something that needs to change. So it's seeing as apparently the general manufacturing of a lot of the surfing goods aren't exactly always environmentally friendly. And I can understand where that bent came from. So yeah, that makes sense. And do you guys have any recent innovations that you've been working on within the recent few months or year even that you are wanting to implement?
yeah, I mean, I would say the one was obviously it started off on cork tractions, and then we got mates that bring in coffee beans and they roast coffee, and they ended up chucking away a whole bunch of Hessian coffee bags. And Cam kind of came up one day and went, well, why don't we try to look at like board bags, and then went from board bags to changing mats that hold your wetsuits in. And it kind of just spurred into creating a product that's literally another company's chucking in a bin. And yeah, it turns out we created a little video that we thought wasn't gonna, quick little iPhone video, and overnight felt like it just went straight to like 5 million views or something crazy. And yeah, so the Hessian changing mats and board bags kind of came to life. So I'd say that's another product. We had no idea we were going to go down that route when we started the cork thing. And yeah, I think otherwise I would say that's the only like product range that we would carry on with.
I don't think we have like a set product that we're moving towards. I think we're always kind of looking for something that we can just make it slightly more environmentally friendly. I mean, we even did the fins.
Yeah, we made fins
We
as well.
made some fins that we kind of like got the local shaper to inlay some cork, and then I think he used off-cut pieces of the fiberglass from when he was laminating boards to put on top, and then obviously you had to use like new resin because you can't use old resin because it hardens over time. And we made these like super cool,
Kind of upcycled.
pretty, but what, 80% upcycled. So I
Yeah.
mean, there's always like new little things that you're just looking for that we're not necessarily working on, but I think it just comes up naturally, and you're like, oh, dude, we could do that. We could do that, you know, one step better than what it is already. So
I think the bread and butter of this thing is it's a passion project, and we surf, and we're using what we make every time we go surf. So whenever we're surfing and we're using a product that's not ours,
yeah,
you kind of start looking at it going, well, how can we better this?
yeah.
Like, how can we better this one thing that we're using every single day?
I mean, sorry, some of the yeah, like the new developments is just to move into other water sports, man, like kite surfing pads and stand-up paddles, stand-up paddleboarding pads, and you know, pads for foiling. I mean, just like there's so many different avenues. We don't have the resources to explore every avenue right now.
You guys have been sticking them on skateboards.
Skateboards, I mean,
Like,
yeah,
That sounds cool.
the possibilities are endless, man.
yeah.
No, I'd really like to see the skateboard variants you'd come up with. That would be rather interesting as well. I just say that I used to be a skater back in the day, so it would for me.
Like longboarding and carvers, maybe not like to do kick flips and to drop down in half pipes with, but you know, just carvers, longboards. You can do it barefoot, you know. So the deck grip when you use this like that normal sandpaper on the skateboard is quite hard on your feet. And so the cork is just, you know, a lot of guys like to cruise around barefoot. It's a little lighter on the feet. So
All right. No, it sounds like it came about quite organically, which is great. I mean, that's generally a sign that things are, I almost want to say, meant to be, because it generally feels that way when you're having to force something and force it. Generally doesn't tend to end up as nicely. But as you said, something that you guys are coming up with ideas as you go through your experiences. It's not, you know, sitting here brainstorming something redundant to change. You know, it's okay, I use this every day. Wow, okay, this could actually be improved upon. What if we did this? So I like that natural organic process of it, of the expansion of your range and all that. That's really cool. So I did also want to find out from you guys, why is it that you chose to focus locally?
it's a great question.
You mean like locally manufacturing, locally selling? I mean, I guess you know, in surfing, you've got a term like you're a local. So I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we focused, I think, on ourselves first. Like, you got to try the product. It like was changing our lives first, which naturally turned into changing the mates that we're surfing with lives, and it kind of grew organically like that as well. You know, we didn't create something and then all of a sudden go throw some crazy money into marketing, trying to get this thing all over the world. Let's start in our little group first and see what the impact is, and let it just grow organically. Because I mean, remember, this is not our full-time gig as well, so we don't have the time and the kind of the resources to go full ham into it, because we are doing other jobs. So allow it to grow organically, and that's kind of been like a solid pace for us to kind of keep working at it with.
Okay. Sorry, I probably wasn't as specific as I should have been. I meant more within the was it a result of the of wanting to take care of your own local environment, if I could put it like that, because you guys are focused on the sustainability aspect within the business. So I was just more curious as to whether you saw the need for the local areas to implement these things, and also how they could improve in general.
I don't think that the product that we're offering has a quantifiable impact. As like, you know, we can't, you know, measure that there's less wax that is peeled off people's boards into the water. Like, it's a very difficult thing to measure. And so I wouldn't say it necessarily was born out of the necessity to try and improve some kind of local condition. Like, let's just say less plastic on the beach, or less rubbish in the water or whatever. It was more just passion, and it wasn't really, and then just something to just be 1 degree better, if that makes sense, than what exists. So I don't know if that answers the question.
No, no, no.
There's no limitation to the space that it can be in, or there's no
No, 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 it makes sense. I was just curious about it in general, if there was a particular need that you saw that you wanted to address, but no, that's all good. So I wanted to ask, do you do any community initiatives at all, or is there something that you would consider in the future, depending on what it might be?
So by community just means sort of like, because I mean, yeah, can you maybe just elaborate more? Like, you mean just like giving away, or
Yeah, so I mean, it's something simple, like a community event where you host let's say a surf competition or something, and you with a specific purpose in mind behind it, like wanting to give that money raised to somewhere else or anything like that, or perhaps working with other shops in the area to maybe increase the sustainability within their realms as well. Anything of that type of that sort.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a couple. I think funny enough, we're running a little contest now. It's more it's like a World Surf League fantasy contest, something really bare basic, just keeps the brand going, keeps people interactive with the brand. That's kind of a year-long event as you follow the surfing tour. It just gets people who are interested in the tour but maybe aren't 100% knowledgeable on our brand kind of involved in our little contest. And that's pretty much open for anyone. And then I guess when it comes to like community-driven things, we have been quite active with guys that, like for instance, Paul. We've got a team rider that is based out in Muizenberg. And we've always tried to help assist with someone. Paul's the kind of guy that he's got an exceptional talent, but just kind of needs a little bit of a helping hand here and there. And I feel like we've tried our best to be that helping hand for him. Getting him tractions, getting him the things he needs. I think he just came back from Sri Lanka, trying to assist him to kind of get to the places that for someone that might be in his position might not be the easiest to get to. So yeah, I mean, we've tried our best to kind of get into those environments, and I think that we're only going to be diving more into those environments as our company does grow.
So yeah, there's actually, so one of our things that we want to get more. So Paul, I think Paul in of himself is a great success story. It's more about him on the website, but the kid comes from nothing, and the fact that he's able to surf the way he surfs in the waves that he surfs is like truly mind-boggling. And we've all credit to Paul for being and for creating his own success, but we've tried to just be a helping hand where we can and give him what he needs, like Bryan says. So that's probably one of our best examples. But the other things that we want to do is like try to get more involved in the like surfers on street children, what do you call it? Like,
yeah, so like it's basically like surf, it's like your underprivileged like surf communities.
where we can, because we have a lot of we have one product that actually it's made entirely from offcuts, and we want to try and so that product initially we didn't know that it would work, but now that we know it works out of the offcuts, we've kept all the offcuts, so we have thousands of these products, more than what we're selling, that we actually want to start trying to donate to
these organizations.
Yeah, so that's probably one of our biggest aspirations, is to get like, because there's so many benefits behind it.
I mean, just if you take a school for an example, if you can get involved in a school or an organization that's let's say taking 100 kids or whatever the case may be to the beach so often, that's 100 boards that need to be waxed every time it goes to the beach. And when they driving the kids all the way back home, that's 100 boards, which wax is probably melting in the car.
Yeah.
So there's all that wax that's constantly being changed and chopped and changed and chopped and changed, where if you can provide them with a solution to never having to wax their boards again, you can imagine just the impact on the corporation or the little organization, just saving them that little expense, where they can potentially use that expense within their own corporation at maybe something that's more needed than wax. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple little things that we plan on doing in the future, kind of within those realms. It's hard to stipulate right now. There's so many.
Yeah, that was well said.
All
You said it better.
right. No, I really dig it, guys. I dig the vision, and I wish you all the best with those endeavors. Truly, I mean, I really like the idea behind it. Um, in general, I find that also, we with today's technological landscape, it's always nice to spend time outside, and especially for the underprivileged children who, let's say, who don't necessarily have productive hobbies, hobbies that could help them escape the space that they're in, or help them deal with the space that they're in. Here you guys come along and, kind of offering ways to engage with that issue that is prevalent. So that's amazing, guys. Again, I wish you all the best in that endeavor. The offcuts that you were talking about, the boards, are you talking about the upcycled seal, or is that is that one? Okay.
That's the one, yeah.
Cool. So do you mind I actually just wanted to ask if you guys could possibly just elaborate it on the upcycled seal just a bit for those who want to wear.
Yeah, so I mean, well, Cam grabs one. I think the best way to put it was so when we started manufacturing these tractions, or let me actually rewind. When we go back to the how this company came to be, we were creating a seal for a cover for the gas geyser company that we obviously work at. But now our original manufacturer would just give us the product that we produced, and they weren't giving us the offcuts that were left from obviously producing that product. And then after some time, we ended up changing manufacturers, and then the new manufacturer that we ended up using gave us back all our offcuts. And then the one day we were sitting, and Cam kind of matched out all these little offcut pieces and went, "Holy crap! This kind of looks like a product. Like it looks like a traction." So that turned into something that our previous manufacturers were chucking in a bin, to now it becoming something that we can actually create change with, where it's not just now a profitable selling product, but something that we can actually offer to these people that would like to try something.
Yeah.
Cam's gonna just give you an idea.
So this is the sort of the seal that we spoke about initially, where the whole kind of idea started. Was this seal goes on this sort of galvanized plate that then sits against something, stops the water from coming in. So this hasn't been stuck down yet. And basically, in order to get these cut out, you got to use quite a lot of, we actually use quite a lot of, let's see if we can get this in here. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one didn't exactly, what's going on? Yeah.
I think it's two separate pieces, but
okay. So anyway, so you can see this is the pad. This is kind of confusing because this created a whole lot of other problems when we started this, but this guy fits in here. So he comes out. And that's part of the pad. And then this guy, he under normal circumstances would have fitted in. This would have fitted in the middle of this somehow. It's quite a. Why am I struggling with this so much?
I think they were invert pieces.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, they cut to one side and
that's
whatnot
true.
to the.
That's true. Okay, so we ended up with this guy, which then when you put these together, you've seen the kind of the picture. Then you end up with the little upcycled pad. We have so many of these. What was the question?
The question was, you just wanted to kind of gauge what it was and how it came to be.
All right.
So like I said, this eventually, that was going in a bin.
Yes, this was going in a bin. That's a good point.
And there were added extra pieces to this. So by means of finding out that if we can adjust the way that our dies are cutting our offcuts, it creates a little bit of a cleaner finish, and it ends up creating a product that when you add a bunch of these up with each other, it ends up creating a bit of a deck pad. So there you go. You'll see that there's kind of that would sit in here, and this whole little block would end up in the bin.
So we cut the block out now. We just throw this away, and then we get to reuse all of this, which is probably like, I don't know, 50% reduction in the waste, maybe.
Yeah, because you get 4 of those blocks out of the big block.
So that's pretty nuts. We're pretty proud of that.
No, that's awesome.
That answers the question.
Yeah, no doubt. And so just to also reiterate, I don't think you mentioned it is. You said it was from offcuts, but all of this is all up upcycled material. So it's all from waste materials.
Yeah, so that
Those-
whole piece would be
yeah.
waste, this piece.
Yeah.
So this is not made from waste material. This is basically virgin cork. So
Okay.
this is that's not like that hasn't been ground down and remade into cork. This is the original cork that would have come off of a tree in Portugal. This is just the waste that is being upcycled that was previously being thrown away until we had then basically developed like a little pad out of it.
Mm.
So yeah.
I see.
So it was a component ending up in the bin, and now it's a component that's usable.
Indeed, just like that, you make use of every single resource we have, guys. Well done. All right, so I did also want to ask, based on the experiences that you guys have had with starting with co-founding this company, you mentioned that this isn't even the only thing that you do. So how much time are you guys able to actually dedicate to this passion project, so to speak? Whereas do you guys have regular 9 to 5 jobs as well, and then this is just a side?
So Brian and I both work for a company called Juhot, and we manufacture and import LPG or LP gas geysers, which is another environmental conversation of its own. And it's over the years has grown quite significantly and taken up a lot of our time. So that is basically our 9 to 5.
Mhm.
And when we can, we definitely, and that's a winter-based business, very seasonal, very winter's our busy time period kind of. And fortunately with winter being surf season in South Africa, you would think that it would be busier, but it's the opposite. It's kind of summer when, everyone's hitting the garden route and going from Joburg to the beach, and that seems to be the most busiest time.
It's like summer retail season.
It's like summer retail season, yeah. So honestly, to give you a set amount of time that we spend on this business is very difficult, because I would say some weeks it ranges from nothing to some weeks when some deadline is up or we need to get something done. It could be
Whole week.
the whole week. So it just depends. But not as much as what we would like to. It's we're limited in resources in Juhot alone, and now to try and dedicate more to this passion project, we're really, the saying goes, we're just focusing on what pays the bills, and so we do what we can.
Fair enough, fair enough. Did you guys have any, let's say, far-reaching plans with the Cook in general? Is there any specific vision that you guys have had or talked about that you would wish to strive towards with it?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what you're gonna say.
yeah, I think there's a couple. There's so many, man. I think it comes down to once again, it's a passion project. It funds and allows us to enjoy what we enjoy doing, which is surfing. So I think the goal is not to allow it to become something that we slaved to. We kind of want to still allow it to keep surfing being the enjoyable sport that it is. So I guess the quicker we can get our company to a point where it is self-sufficient and just doing what it's doing at the best of its ability without taking away from our surf time, then I think that's kind of the goal, making change, but also enjoying the whole process of doing it, really.
All right.
I want to say what I thought Brian was going to say. I feel like that's an answer that I would have given. The answer that I thought Brian was actually going to say was that honestly would love to see a World Tour pro riding these riding, maybe not, doesn't have to be our tractions, but I would love to see the role models in the sport actually doing this, riding more sustainable products, whether it be boards. And I know that there is a lot of movement towards more eco-friendly, but we're all kind of a slave to the habits of surfing and the traditions of it, and wax is one of those things. So I would love to see a World Tour pro riding something like this one day. That would be a massive aspiration.
That would be
I mean, I think I still sent you that photo one saying, we fight against wax just because wax is kind of where it all started. But when you're watching like tour events and you're watching pro surfers waxing their feet and waxing like the petrochemical foam pads, then you sit and you think like they're waxing the pad that they're not even meant to be waxing, and now we're trying to fight against foam pads and wax, and they're basically putting it all into a big cocktail before they go surf. It kind of makes it very difficult. So I think we can start seeing like influential names and people doing these kind of things. I think would be
that would be cool.
That would be pretty rad. Surfers are sheep, man. They follow what whatever the pro's riding. If the pro's got a certain board, or if the pro's got a certain set of fins, or he's cut his hair a certain way, then I guarantee you're gonna see it in the lineup that following week. So yeah. They don't like to be called it, but they're sheep. We're all sheep.
All right. Well, thank you for that. No, it makes sense, and that would be amazing to see. 100%, I agree with you, and hopefully it's only a matter of time before you do see it. Because I mean, I'm sure it'll with the trend towards more sustainability, eco-friendly living in general. I feel like it is something that will be even standardized at some point. I feel.
I think that to add on to that, sorry to interrupt you there, man. It's also, I think the major notch is it needs to come at a price that all surfers can do it.
Yeah.
Because at the moment you can get some amazing eco-friendly products, but you got to break the bank quite heavily, man. It's only available to that small percentage of people that can actually afford it. So your everyday guy is almost forced to use something that's less eco-friendly, just on the pure basis of it being way too expensive.
That's fair. That is a fair point you've made, and it's not just surfing that has been a problem in. There's quite a few other sectors that have that type of issue where the competitors are just so much cheaper. They're just well priced, and so it's much easier to just give a little bit instead of actually, as you say, breaking the bank to get it. Just to be more eco-friendly. So I do understand that. And in that same vein, I actually wanted to ask you guys, what has been the biggest challenge for you in terms of your business and in terms of being eco-friendly and sustainable, or as far as possible?
I think it's an easy one. It's our suppliers.
Yeah.
Dealing with South African suppliers, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're just it's I don't know if it's like this all around the world, but the South African suppliers have been pretty unreliable. We've had some pretty good guys too, but pretty unreliable. Stuff's never done on time. It's not what they say they're going to do. It's just like continual working on patience and kindness and asking nicely 10 times, and not getting mean or frustrated by it, because these guys are your business, man. You're like, I can't go in there and guns blazing when my stuff's like 2 weeks late, because what's stopping them from making it 3 weeks late? So it's been a proper challenge.
Yeah, we're basing our business and our quality off of other people's business.
And we did this, we did this on purpose. We wanted to work with like local suppliers and keep everything as local as we can. And there's all that old saying, local is lacquer, but I mean, man, we've had to pull our hair out at some points.
Yeah, it kind of like opens up your eyes to realize why a lot of brands have gone the quick China routes or the quick overseas phone call. Does seem like the easy process, but then again, how much does it cost to ship in, and what's the carbon footprint shipping half your stuff all over the world? And I think we've been proud of being the select few brands that can actually say that you're producing something in the surf industry in South Africa.
It's as local as it could possibly be. I mean, South Africa doesn't have cork forests, so of course the cork has to be brought in, but we've pretty much done it as local as humanly possible, right down to even Bryan and myself making the stuff with our own hands. Pretty crazy, but that's been a challenge for sure.
Okay, yeah, no, I was not aware of that that issue in the supplying sector. That's crazy. It's unfortunate, no doubt, and I can imagine that you, as you guys said, you've been at the point of pulling your hair out multiple times. I see Bryan's already beat you to it. Damn.
It's all gone, man.
Should have seen Bryan a year ago, man.
When we started Kook, the hair was down to you, man.
Both of us.
Oh man, no, okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so You guys have been fantastic, truly. There's only one more question that I really want to ask, and that is if you have any, let's say, advice or tips for anybody within the industry who might be looking up at you, or either in terms of sustainability factor or just in terms of the passion, the fact that you guys are actually trying to make your dream a reality. Yeah, so any advice?
You go for it, dude.
Yeah, I think from like a business point of view, find a problem that you feel that other people find as big as a problem as you find. Just if from a like a business point, at the end of the day, if people don't find that that problem is big enough to go spend the money on the product that you're producing, then it's pretty much done. And then I guess we've always just said, just start, man. I think just
Yeah, I think from my side is like, what I really think is that there's environmentalism has a bit of a stigma attached to it in the sense that it's like, take something like, Woolworths offering reusable bags. And then you go, well, now they're offering reusable bags. And what about all the other stuff that's wrapped in plastic? And we just forget that what they've done is tried to take a step in the right direction. They haven't made an environmentally perfectly sound business. They've just taken a step in the right direction. And this was really inspired to me by John McCarthy of Ocean Child, who makes environmentally better surfboards. And it wasn't about making an environmentally perfect surfboard. And he's always preached this, preached or discussed or whatever you want to call it, is that it's not about making the perfectly, it's about just taking a step in the right direction. So, and that's what Kuko is. We're just a step. It's not environmentally perfect. It's not environmentally friendly. I don't know if such a thing exists as environmentally friendly, but certainly environmentally better. So I would say that, it's about just taking the step and moving in the right direction, and just have the conversations that we weren't having, 5 or 10 years ago.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to say I'm very much in agreement with you, Cameron, there, that it's so important to just actually take that first step, and even if it is, or even if all you ever do is just take a step, it's like that's all that's necessary, really, at the end of the day. Every step forward is a step forward. It is progress. And yes, there are many pressing issues that are at hand, but it's not as if we can flip a coin and just, tomorrow just change like everything that needs to be changed. Also, the amount of regulations that are in place, you can't just change everything the next day and expect everything to still be functioning regularly, smoothly, properly. So yes, even if you are able to just take that one step and make that difference, do it. It's worth 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we could just also be more or less critical of people that have tried to take the step and perhaps not produce something perfect, but give them credit rather than criticism for taking the step. I mean, we've had a bit of criticism over, like, whatever the thing has been, and it kind of like, it just goes in one ear and out the other ear that you've done one thing better, and at least it's better. That's the foundation of moving forward. So
Nice.
yeah.
I like it. So sorry, Bryan, I could I ask you to possibly reiterate what it was that you said, because I wasn't 100% following. You said find a common problem. Was
yeah. So I mean, what I mean by that is, at the end of the day, if you can solve a problem with your product, be it eco-friendly or not, if you're solving problems, people will be happy with it. At the end of the day. But if your problem, I mean, take our product for example. We started off because we wanted to reduce our footprint with wax. In our eyes, wax is terrible, man. It's something that melts all over my seats. It's something that is not eco-friendly. It actually comes off in the ocean. It's petrochemical. Like, in my eyes, wax is the worst thing possible. I hate it. I don't like it at all. It's a nightmare. If I go from Tableview to Strand to Durban, I have to use different types of wax. I've got to change the wax quite regularly. So it's just a hassle. So in my eyes, it's a massive problem. I'm going to change it. But there's not a lot of people that find that a problem. They'd very easily go borrow wax from someone in the parking lot, buy the next cheapest block of wax. They don't care, man. They'll chuck that block of wax while they're at the beach, in the parking lot, somewhere on the floor. You know, at the end of the day, like, that's not a massive problem in their lives. So those are the people that don't really think that product or our product is worthwhile looking at, because it's not what's on or what's under Kelly Slater's feet, and it doesn't look cool, so they're not going to go that route. But I mean, you look at something like, there was something that just went crazy viral on TikTok now. It was like some form of wax scraper. And all they did is they made these like really cool videos of how this little scraper scrapes off the wax, and people are going mental for it. So at the end of the day, they would rather buy a product that's going to help them remove the wax so that they can reapply the wax, rather than just to use a product that means they don't have to use the wax. So it comes down to find a problem that the people that you're trying to sell the product to think that that problem is at least as big of a problem as you think it is to buy your product, kind of thing. It's the best way to really put it.
Okay, yeah. So find a problem that speaks to you and that also speaks to other people, that it's necessary, yeah, eventually. Yeah. Okay. No, well, thank you very much, Bryan and Cameron. This conversation has truly been lovely. I really enjoyed talking to you guys, getting to know you guys, and a bit more about the Kook Co. Genuinely, I wish you all the best with your mission going further, and I'm sure I'll talk to you guys again.
Thank you very much.
100%, man.
Likewise to you as well.
Let us know if you ever want to come try it out and test it out.
Of course, man. We'll definitely make sure to do so. On behalf of the Good Newspaper, I hope you guys have a fantastic day further. And yeah, all the best to you guys. Bow to you.